Good evening, everyone. It is virtual happy hour time. Welcome. Welcome to our happy hour. I see some of my friends have already chatted in. If you are out there and you're watching it live, go ahead and chat in your comments, your questions as we conduct our virtual happy hour tonight. For those who don't know, my name's Lon Hudman. I'm a founder and vice president at Soul Naturals. And tonight we are going to be talking about one of the components of the Energy Starter Kit. So remember, during the month of July, we are still focusing on healthy energy and specifically on the Energy Starter Kit. But tonight, we're going to be talking about one of the components of the Energy Starter Kit, and that is Avant Greens. And so tonight, we're going to be talking about Avant Greens. Now, those of you who don't know, or those of you who follow me on Facebook know that last week, I spent the entire week in Cooperstown, New York. So I am excited to be here and be joined by all of my soul family and friends for our virtual happy hour. And anyway, so I was at a baseball tournament in Cooperstown, New York, and it rained a lot, okay, while I was there. And when it wasn't raining, it was really hot and muggy. And so we finished the tournament, and then we went actually into the city of New York City, and we went to a Yankees-Red Sox game. So we were at the game, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it felt cooler. And I turned to my son, and I said, have you noticed that here in the stadium, it is a lot cooler? And my son said, well, that's probably because of all of the fans. All the fans. That's what made it cooler. Again, that was a horrible dad joke, but I had to get it out of the way. So again, welcome to our virtual happy hour tonight. And again, we're going to be talking about Avant Greens. And we're going to start with a presentation by Dr. Allison Caldwell Andrews, and she's going to talk about the nutritional elements of Avant Greens. So, Dr. Allison, take it away.
Hello there. Tonight we are going to talk about nutrients and the Avant Greens. And the answer to all of those questions is yes, and more yes, more yes. So we need nutrients. We need macronutrients. These include fat, carbohydrate, and protein. We need micronutrients, and this is where you'd find vitamins and minerals. Those are considered micronutrients. And we need phytonutrients. And so when you think about the power of plant food, plant medicines, and we sort of use that term a little bit interchangeably, that plant food is medicinal. There are thousands of compounds that are found in plants. Many of them we don't even have identified yet. But we do have some research done on some of them that shows that they are really critical for human functioning. Here's an example of how your body uses nutrients. And so we'll talk about liver functioning. The liver functions in two phases. Phase one, it deals with breaking down the toxins that are in the liver so that you can get rid of them in phase two. So when you're breaking things down, you need to use up certain nutrients. So if you're breaking down some stuff that's difficult to break down, or let's say you breathed in a lot of pollution or something like that, you're going to use up more nutrients. That means that they're now not available for you to use for other things. And so when you have extra stress in your life, you're going to be using your liver more, whether it's for neuropeptides that carry emotion, or if it's for breathing pollutants or breathing in paint fumes, etc., those sorts of things. And so you need nutrients, and having nutrient dense foods like Avant Greens are is the best you can probably hope for here. Liver functioning, phase two, this is where you're making it water soluble. So phase one, you would break down the toxin. Phase two, you're going to make it so that it's water soluble. They call it conjugation. And so you add you add whatever is needed in phase two to make the toxin water soluble. Then you can excrete it through the body. So you need amino acids, magnesium. You need magnesium in phase one also. And so you can see how your body doesn't need just the same number of nutrients every day to function. Your body needs the nutrients that will help it deal with what it has to deal with on that day. And sometimes you're aware of what your needs are, and sometimes you're not. And so you might just feel like you need something more, and you don't have any reason to not really do that if you're listening to your body appropriately. So it's a false idea that you need the same amounts of nutrients every day. We try to do that to simplify things and say, the average person on average, but we know that we have individual lives that we lead. And so you need the nutrients to match what it is your body is doing that day. If you're doing more, you need more nutrients. And you may not even realize that your body's doing more. So it's important to have something that's nutrient dense that can give your body more nutrients. So in addition to the things that Avant Greens already does, we've talked about that in other webinars, other education, and we can talk about it in the future. Avant Greens does a lot of things for you in terms of helping your gut functioning, helping your thyroid and adrenal functioning. But we're focusing today on the nutrition, the nutrients that are involved in Avant Greens, because that's a part of what we're doing also, is providing lots of nutrients for our bodies. So just to go through what's in there, as a reminder, we have those 3 adaptogens: American ginseng, holy basil, and licorice. American ginseng is there because it's a little more gentle than Asian ginseng, and so that's really helpful for adrenal and thyroid problems. You have the tonic herbs. Tonic herbs help the things in your body work better. They're safe. You can take them every day for the rest of your life, just like adaptogens. Tonic herbs are like adaptogens in terms of safety. They're not like adaptogens in the sense that adaptogens generally do more. Tonic herbs are really wonderful, but they do fewer things than adaptogens. And here you have yellow dock, which is great for your liver, sarsaparilla, which really can help you manage toxins better. Hawthorn, one of my favorite herbs out there. Hawthorn is so good for blood pressure, for cardiac, anything, the circulatory system. Albizia is that the tree of happiness, mimosa, right? And that can really help you feel like just happier. Ginkgo biloba, one of the best herbs for your brain, and then rosemary also. You have the sprouts and the sprouted ingredients: flax, chia, quinoa, amaranth, alfalfa. Here, again, you have some nutrient powerhouses that provide a tremendous amount of great B vitamins and minerals. The 2 that I really want to talk about the most are watercress and aronia. So we also have hemp, alfalfa, the chlorophyllene that comes from mulberry. But with this watercress and aronia were put into this Avant Greens blend specifically to provide a tremendous amount of nutrition. That's why they were chosen. There's also a probiotic, digestive enzyme, and then we have monk fruit. Now, monk fruit is the sweetener for Avant Greens, but it does way more than just be a sweetener. Monk fruit itself improves blood sugar. It's a great antioxidant. It has cardiovascular benefits. So you can think it does sort of like triple duty, but it's almost like quadruple duty because it does sweeten it. To me, it just kind of tastes like candy. I don't know if you can hear the thunder and the rain here, but I'm kind of loving it. And if you can hear it, then that's what that is. That's what those noises are. So here, watercress. Watercress tops the ranking of nutrient-dense foods. And this is from a list compiled by the CDC. So what they did was they had a person take 47 carefully selected powerhouse foods and use lots of criteria looking at what nutrients were involved to grade each of those food or each of those nutrients on a scale of 0 to 100, and then add up what's going on. If you got to a score of 10 out of 100, that indicated that this was a powerhouse food, right? So powerhouse meant you had 10. Watercress scored 100. The maximum score. You could not score higher than 100, and watercress scored 100. So watercress topped the list. Just incredible nutrients. I have a little patch, not me personally, but there is a little patch of watercress down the road from me. And in the mornings when I walk along the road, I can look over on this little cute stream, and you can see watercress just full. It's just full of watercress. Also, high in terms of nutrients are Chinese cabbage, which scored 91, chard, which is 89, beet greens, 87, spinach, 86. And for comparison, we have kale. Kale ranked 49th. And so a lot of people say, well, kale is the most nutritious thing out there. You can see that here are a few things that are bigger powerhouses than kale, and watercress is the biggest one. So that's why watercress is in Avant Greens. Here's another measure. So we are looking at nutrients with watercress and all those things. Here we're looking at antioxidants with ORAC, the ORAC score. And ORAC stands for oxygen radical absorbance capacity. So as you remember, when your body functions or when you eat things that aren't so good for you, then the body reacts by creating free radicals. And a few free radicals are just fine. In fact, they can be really helpful to the body. They can kind of kill off some bacteria, et cetera. But when you don't have enough antioxidant activity in the body, then the free radicals will sort of run amok, and then you have more damage than you want. And so what you want to do is eat highly antioxidant foods. And so this is a measure of how much capacity does this food have to create antioxidant action. So it's not a list of what nutrients are in it. Like this is how much of the nutrient. That's what we talked about with watercress. This is about how the food functions, what the food will do, not what it contains. And so it's a kind of a better measure when you're looking at fruits and berries, because that's what their real talent is in antioxidant activity. And so it's a great measure for that. The ORAC scale, we're going to talk about various numbers on that scale and what they match up to in terms of the foods. But just again, another note, looking at kale. I like kale. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like kale, but I find it interesting that red leaf lettuce has more antioxidant capacity than kale. And so red leaf lettuce antioxidant capacity is 2426. I see that it's a little confusing the way I ordered it there. So the kale is 1770, the red leaf lettuce is 2426, which means red leaf lettuce has more antioxidants capability. It doesn't mean that it has more nutrients. It says it has more antioxidant capacity. Here's a chart looking at berries, because this is what we're interested in, is aronia berries. And you can see on the left, aronia berries are the top. They're the most antioxidant berry that's out there. Blueberries are really great for you, and you can see aronia berries are way higher than blueberries. Here, for fun, are some ORAC values for various ingredients that are in Soul products. And maybe you could do something where you try and figure out what product each of these foods are in. So amla is topping the list. Amla is a plant that's found in India. And look at that ORAC score, 261,500. Now you remember back on this page where kale was 1770, right? And we have amla, 261,000. Really shows you something. Chaga mushrooms, we've got chaga mushrooms, 146,000, right? Cinnamon, pretty high. Cacao, huge up there. Cacao is. Look at spinach, 1,206 versus cacao, 95,000. It's really something else. Now, of the berries, aronia is the top berry out there at 16,000. Acai berries are 15,000. Blueberries, by comparison, are down at around a little over 4,500. Baobab fruit. You may not have heard of it, but you might at some point. Very, very high in terms of antioxidants, 140,000. Turmeric and chia. So here's what aronia berries look like. They're from North America, and they are also called chokeberries. And people use them to make jams, jellies, sauces. So it tops all the fruits in terms of its ORAC score, also shown to reduce blood pressure in two different groups, people with previous heart attacks and people with metabolic syndrome. And so you've got to figure that blood pressure is a little harder move in people with those kinds of histories, and aronia can do that. It also slows the spread of the flu virus. It's antiviral. So Avant Greens in itself does so much more than just provide nutrition. But what you can see here, just with a little look at just watercress and aronia, really, the nutrition it provides is awesome. All right, take care.
So once again, Dr. Allison amazes me with her knowledge and information. I had no idea that watercress had so much nutrition. It's so nutritionally dense. That is amazing. And I've asked Allison to join us, and I'm sure she is willing to answer any questions that anyone might have if they'll chat them in. And in the meantime, and we're having a little lighting issue. It's going to be kind of fun behind me. But anyway, so Dr. Allison, I know that you were very instrumental in putting together this formula. So when you were coming up with the ingredients that were going to be in Avant Greens, what were some of the objectives you were trying to accomplish?
Well, we had talked about a product that would really help adrenal and thyroid issues, but we also wanted a lot of nutrition in there. And so the sprouts, the watercress, the aronia, that all really helped with the nutrition end of it. And then the other end, in terms of adrenal and thyroid issues, that's where we're targeting with good English is there. That's where the adaptogens are targeted. So the American ginseng, licorice, and holy basil are particularly useful for those issues, but also people with any sort of health challenge, but particularly adrenal and thyroid issues, also need help with their gut. A lot of those tonic herbs are helpful for the gut. They're helpful for the heart. They're helpful for all your body systems. And part of what my thought was, I just love these tonic herbs. We love the adaptogens for really good reasons. And sometimes we leave out the tonic herbs, which are just almost as good as adaptogens. They just don't do as many things. They do fewer things, but really well. And so I thought, if you can take some of these tonic herbs every day for the rest of your life, wouldn't that be great? And which ones would I love to take every day for the rest of my life? Well, I'll make sure to look at those twice before I put them in and make sure that, we're taken care of.
I know when we first came out with it, I couldn't find anything on the market that was really like Avant Greens, that was similar to it. And so I guess my question is, what was the impetus? What was the catalyst in coming out with a product that had sprouted nutrition, had adaptogens, had tonic herbs, had a probiotic? I mean, what made you think of a product that would do all those things?
Part of it, I'm a nerd, right? I mean, that's not a shock to you. But I was reading a book, about tonic herbal therapies, and just reading more and more information about things like yellow dock and things like sarsaparilla. I've always been fascinated by, and just really loving seeing what kinds of things they did. But because they're tonic herbs, and as a company, we're really looking at adaptogens, they would often take like a little bit of a backseat maybe to adaptogens. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to be able to combine all of these really useful actions in a product where this is like something safe that you could do every single day. And so in this book, this person had kind of fantasized about, wouldn't it be great to have that kind of a product? And I thought, yes, it would be.
Now, it's in the balancing category, so it's a product designed that you can take every single day, right? Add it to your
That's right.
protein shake, your Soul Complete shake, but it's something that it's really nutrition that we need every day, every one of us, right?
Right. A lot of times people like to start off kind of small because that much targeted nutrition or some of the actions on your gut helping things to move through the kidneys, the liver, that sort of thing. Sometimes people need to ramp up slower. And so we usually tell people don't start with a full scoop every day because it's pretty potent. It's a pretty potent product. But definitely my thinking was, what would I want to take every single day? And then I like putting it in my shake with Complete, but I also like it by itself because it just feels like a celebration when I drink it.
Well, and you do feel a difference. I can attest to that. If you take
I
that
have
on a
to tell
regular
you,
basis, you will feel a
yeah,
difference.
my husband, this was a few years ago. I was just kind of reviewing a webinar I had just given to him or something. And I remember saying, yeah, you've got this Albizia, the tree of happiness. And he looked at me and said, maybe that's what's going on because I've been drinking this stuff and I feel weirdly happy. Right?
There you go. Right now, you and I originally, you put together a webinar series when we first introduced the product, and you and I were just talking before we came on the air in the broadcast that we really need to go back and update that webinar series, and so that's something that we plan on doing in the very near future. So look forward to that. And I kind of want to see if there's any questions, and I want to share some comments with you. So. I saw one comment that someone said that just smelling the Avant greens makes them happy. And I can't remember who said that. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Debbie Crutchfield says, just smelling Avant greens makes me happy. Deanne Isbell says, Avant greens is why I've been able to finally get my Graves' eye disease under control after 20-something years. Isn't that amazing? That's
Wow.
a great comment. Okay, that is a great testimony. And Lydia says, I mix it with Infatuate at night with a packet of Renew, getting ready to make it now. And Deanne says that the way she takes it is she mixes it with Vital and Excel every day. And Rosa Nunez says, I haven't tried it yet. What does it taste like? Well, the flavor in there there's an apricot flavor, right? That's kind of the flavoring agent, but I wouldn't say that it necessarily tastes like apricot. It does have a little bit of a fruity taste to it, but I think you're going to like it. It tastes really good. And again, you're getting all that nutrition in one formula, one product. So I have some testimonials that have been written and shared with me that I want to share. And then I also have someone waiting to come on live and share some personal testimonies with our products. So Allison, thank you so much for your presentation and for joining me to talk a little bit about Avant Greens. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Love it.
Okay, as I mentioned, I have a written testimonial, and this comes from Kristen Alexander, who I understand is vacationing in Maine, so she wasn't able to join us live, but she did send me a written testimonial, and here's what Kristen had to say. She said, it's far beyond coincidence that I've been nutrient deficiency free for 4 years, and I've also been a soul geek for 4 years. After I had my kiddos, who are now coming close to their 30s, I started struggling with anemia, which is an iron deficiency. Iron and B12 generally go hand in hand. Yes, I ended up being deficient in both. It was up and down until 15 years ago when I had gastric bypass. Nutritional deficiencies are very common with this weight loss surgery because the parts of your stomach and or intestine that pull specific nutrients from the food are bypassed. This is why supplementation is a necessity and levels are closely monitored. After 7 years of taking over-the-counter vitamins and supplements, I was still deficient and having regular B12 and iron infusions. Out of frustration, I started doing my own research and experimenting and chose to go plant-based with my supplements. It did get a little better, but I was still low and needing frequent infusions. Then came Soul. Then came Avant Greens. This was the missing piece to my balanced nutritional puzzle. Avant Greens mixed with Vital every day has had my iron and B12 levels on point ever since. This combo is wicked delish. And if you know Kristen, you know that she wrote that. It is wicked delish. And she has as a side note that ProBio IQ has added to balancing her B12 levels as well. Thank you, Kristen Alexander, for sharing that with us. A great testimonial on Avant Greens. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a special guest to share a live testimonial, and we have invited Teresa Alcaraz to join us live on our program tonight. And let's see if we can get Teresa on. There she is. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Now, you told me the other day that you have a few testimonials in regards to Avant Greens. So why don't you share with our audience the way you've been using Avant Greens and the positive impact it's had on your family and the people that you've been working with.
Well, I've been working with natural stuff, and I find out that Greens is like a complete meal, especially for kids. I have this client that her daughter, she's 6 years old, and she started having headaches. And the lady told me that she stopped eating her greens, vegetables and fruits. And I recommend her the Avant Greens because the little girl started complaining very often about headaches, and I told her maybe it's nutrients. So she started giving her the Avant Greens, half of the scoop every day, and the headaches went away the same day. Also, I have another little girl. She's 3 years old, and she was kind of hyperactive in the preschool. So the grandma wanted taking care asked me what she can give her. I told her, well, stop giving her all the sweets that you give her and replace it for this. So I recommend her Van Greens, and she started giving it to her. And the girl asked her for her apple drink. And the little girl started behaving better. She's not that hyperactive no more. And she sleeps pretty good at night. Before she couldn't sleep, quiet, and she was waking up a lot, and she was going pee a lot also. So all the nutrients that Van Greens is being helping her with overall, nutrition and good behavior and good sleep. And I have a lot of testimonials. I have this man that he was having problems with his kidneys, but he couldn't drink um, capsules. So I recommend him the Van Greens, and he says that also he noticed that his sugar levels went down, his blood pressure got better, and he feels a lot of energy. So to me, a Van Greens is a complete product with all the nutrients and all the herbs that he has. So it works pretty good, not only for one thing, but for a lot of things on the body. So that's one of
That
my
is
testimonials
awesome. That is
that I
so
give.
good. And I'm absolutely amazed that you've been using it with children as small as 3 years old, 6-year-old kids, and with a myriad of different problems. But good nutrition seems to solve a lot of problems in people's lives. So tell me this: when you're working with kids, do you mix it with some in juice? Do you mix it with our Soul Complete shakes, or do you just have the kids drink it straight?
I recommend it just with water. I tell the mom to try it just to give them with water to see if they drink it, and they love it. At my house, all my family, we all drink Bang Greens, and they don't complain about the flavor. It's sweet, and the flavor is real pleasant. It has like apple taste and a fruity taste, but it's delicious. And I love it because all the nutrients that it has, I mix it with my shake, with my Soul Complete and a Cinemate. I drink it every day. I mix it together, but I like it by itself with water. But I recommend it with water. If they cannot drink it just with water, well, they can mix it with a protein or any other juice.
Well, that is the ultimate testament to the fact that it tastes good, because kids, they are the first ones to tell you if something doesn't taste good. And if kids are drinking it just in water, then obviously the flavor is good and you can get anyone to take it. And so thank you so much for sharing those testimonials and for being part of our virtual happy hour tonight. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
So great information tonight, don't you think? I mean, great information from Dr. Allison, great testimonial from Kristen, and multiple testimonials from Teresa, using Avant Greens with kids as well as adults. And hopefully you've gained a lot of information. I know I have. I've learned some things that I did not know. So before we conclude tonight, I do want to remind you of a couple things. First of all, our Forward Drinking photo contest is still ongoing. It's running through August 8th. And the way it works is take a picture of any of our signature drinks in a location, send it to us or post it on your social media, and we are going to be choosing a winner at the end of the contest. And the prize is a pretty good prize. The winner will actually get one of each of the 100 count new bags for our 4 signature drinks. So you'll get all 4. The winner's going to get all 4: Excel, Renew, Vital, and Cinemate. So it's worth your time to set up a really nice looking photo with our signature drinks, because you could win that contest. And here's an example of what we're talking about. If you can see this picture here, just take a picture of our signature drinks in a glass in a nice setting and enter it in the contest. You might win. You might win 4 100 count bags. Also, I wanted to let everyone know that we will not be having a virtual happy hour in August, because that is the week that we will all be in Orlando at our Soul United convention. Hopefully you'll all be joining us. If not, we will look forward to getting together again in September for our next virtual happy hour. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you for chatting in your comments, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Good night.